Okay, so joining us now on the line, we have David Moore from Astronomy Ireland. Good afternoon, David.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to the show.
Indeed, episode
Thank you very
2.
much indeed.
And you're coming in early as well. This is only episode 2 of our new show, so getting on board early.
Excellent. Glad to hear it.
It's going to be big. It's going to be huge.
Oh, yeah. But of course, you're from Astronomy Ireland, and for anybody who maybe is listening who doesn't know about Astronomy Ireland, that doesn't know what it is you guys do, could you maybe give us a little bit of a background, give us a bit of information on Astronomy Ireland?
Sure. Well, we set it up as a very public body for everyone who's interested in space to come together for various events, lectures, a big barbecue observing session during the summer called Starbecue, barbecue under the stars,
Brilliant.
evening classes, and of course our flagship magazine, which was one of the biggest circulation magazines in the world when we launched it in UK newsstands.
Wow.
No way.
So we're very proud of Astronomy Ireland magazine. It tells people not only what to see in Irish skies and reports what people have been seeing in the last previous month, but it also has the Irish angle on a lot of the stories. There's a lot of people involved in all these missions to the planets and discovering things about black holes, etc., in Irish universities and institutions. We know who they are, so when a story breaks internationally, we know who to contact to get the Irish angle on it.
Yeah.
Pretty fun.
Absolutely, and it's important, especially for us here, to kind of see that Irish angle on it, because I think if you're following stuff online on the likes of Twitter and stuff, you're seeing like the big names, you're seeing stuff from NASA, and you're seeing Elon Musk and stuff like that, and it's great, and it's really cool to see their stance on things, but it's great to see something from a more local kind of a local eye.
Oh, it certainly is. I give talks in schools all around the country, and the first thing I tell them is the Irish invented space exploration. Newgrange is the oldest astronomically aligned building anywhere in the world. So ancient Irish people, over 5,000 years ago, were studying the sky to see what was going on. In fact, they used it to forecast when was the best time to plant crops, which literally saved their lives. That's continued right the way through till the 19th century, when we had the biggest telescope in the world down at Burr in County Offaly. And people came from all over the world to look through this giant telescope. It was the Hubble Space Telescope of its day. And even now we're involved in the European Southern Observatory, which is building the biggest telescope mankind has ever seen, dwarfing anything the Americans are planning. So European, and in particular Irish astronomy, is the best space exploration in the universe that we're aware of. And this is the kind of things we feature in the magazine every month.
That's so cool. Sorry, Sean. I need to jump in there. I didn't realise that Ireland was so heavily involved in space exploration and telescopes and everything.
It gets better.
Really?
Next year, oh yes, next year we're celebrating the 50th anniversary of the first man on the moon. And of course, he was Irish. He told me himself. I interviewed Neil Armstrong a few years ago, and he said they'd just traced his family tree, and his family came from County Fermanagh.
No
Wow.
way.
So we're doing a documentary about it next year, and going to trace his actual family roots. He passed away unfortunately in 2012. So the huge Irish angle. The first person on Mars could be Irish. If not, they'll almost certainly have Irish roots as well. There's so many of the Irish diaspora out there. And that's what we love to feature, finding angles like that, bringing it home to people. It's not just something you read about or watch on the news happening in other countries. It happens here in Ireland as well.
Absolutely. And I think the Astronomy Ireland, as you said, the magazine and stuff you guys put out is fantastic. I think it was this month's one where you had the section on if you're buying like telescopes or stuff like that for people for Christmas presents, and there was some guides on kind of what to look out for, which I thought was really cool.
Oh yeah, we get lots of emails and social media queries about telescopes at this time of year. And, I could give you good advice on telescopes. We used to run a huge telescope shop during the boom, but when the recession hit, we shut it down. And after that, there's so many available online these days, you don't need an actual shop in Ireland.
Yeah.
True.
But it's fantastic because I think a lot of people going out to buy their first one, they wouldn't have a clue what to be looking for. They kind of know basically what they want, but it's a whole different world if you've never shopped for a telescope before.
Absolutely, and we have a webpage giving some advice, and what we say to people, if you're stuck between a few models that you think you want one of them, but you can't decide which, send us the links by email and we'll give you free advice, because we want people to get telescopes and to use them. The more they invest in the hobby financially, the more likely they are to stick with it for the rest of their lives. And we think it's a fantastic hobby for life. You can make a career out of it. And if you don't become an academic astronomer, while you're studying your astronomy, you'll end up studying science. And Ireland is, of course, a huge science economy. Something like 60% of our GDP. That's 3 times more than a construction industry was at the peak in the mid-noughties. And about 6 times bigger than the agriculture sector. So Ireland is all about science.
That's so exciting. Like, I never would have realised that. And just as you were saying that there's tips on how to pick out the best telescope and suited for like what kind of person, I think with this day and age, with social media and everything, kids especially will be more interested in space, and they'll see more than maybe they did 20 years ago. So that interest will be there already. So there might be more, even with all the Mars landings and photos from Mars coming, it will be a wonderful Christmas present, I'd say.
Absolutely. And, you know, you can start off with a telescope for 20 quid. You buy a pair of 10 by 50 binoculars. Yeah. Binocular is short for binocular telescopes. It just simply means one free die. And, they'll have 50 millimeter lens at the front. The little pupil in your eye is only 7 millimeters, so they're 7 times wider. That means they collect times 7, which is 49 times more light than your eyes do. Okay. That's a huge jump in power.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I've done that myself before as well, where like standing outside and just, especially down the countryside more so because you can obviously see more of the sky, where I just use binoculars, and the amount more you can see with just a half decent pair of binoculars is amazing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you've got 50 times your standard eye power. There are bigger binoculars than that, but they get too heavy. But thanks to the Chinese manufacturing good quality optics, when I was a kid, that wasn't the way. Binoculars were expensive. They were made in Japan. Today, a good pair of Chinese binoculars, most of you look on the back, are made in China.
Yeah.
Will, like you say there, show you star clusters, galaxies, double stars, coloured stars. You can even see the moons of Jupiter with a simple pair of binoculars.
Oh, wow. Oh, I think I know what I want for Christmas now.
Sold. So, of course, Astronomy Ireland, as you said, events going on all throughout the year. And in particular, you've got 2 events coming up over the next week or so.
We do indeed, and these are all open to the public because we're always trying to get the public to join Astronomy Ireland. We've become the most popular astronomy club in the world. You could argue the universe till they find some aliens.
Yeah, we've no proof you're not.
Yeah, we'll claim the universe for the time being. And what we do is we like to set up, some of the members have big telescopes. They very kindly bring them along to let other people look through them. They're thousands of times more powerful than your eyes. It's like the jump from your eyes to binoculars. Well, this is a jump from binoculars. There's as big a jump up to giant telescopes. And we often look at the moon and planets, but this Christmas, there's a comet around. A comet that goes around the sun every 5.5 years and just happens to be coming unusually close to the Earth, 13 times closer than the sun. It's called Comet Virtanen, or we're calling it the Christmas Comet. And it was this close again. We ran the calculations through a NASA portal, and even in 500 years' time, it doesn't even come an eighth as close as it does this month. So this is really a once-in-a-lifetime chance to see this particular comet. I saw it last night out in the countryside with the naked eye, and it's going to get a bit bright over the next few weeks. And if you've got a pair of binoculars, you get an even better view of it. So we're running a watch for it with giant telescopes into the heart of the comet, as it were, on Friday night, 8 o'clock, in Blanchardstown, at where the Astronomy Ireland headquarters are. You'll get all the details on the map on astronomy.ie. Bring the whole family.
Absolutely, that sounds fantastic. Yeah. The opportunity to get to have a look at that through, like, obviously much better telescopes than a lot of people are going to have at home. Even if you are an amateur astronomer, you might only have something kind of mid-range, you know. So it's a fantastic opportunity.
Telescopes costing thousands of euros, so not many people have access to these kinds of telescopes.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And the fact, as I said, the fact you can see it with the naked eye as well, it's great that you can, if you can't make it to the event, if you can get somewhere with clear skies and you have a decent pair of binoculars, you're still going to get a nice view.
You've got the whole month, and in fact you'll even see it with a pair of binoculars certainly in January, and it's the cover story of the December issue of Astronomy Ireland magazine. You should be able to get that in Dunnes Stores or Eason's, or you can go to astronomy.ie, and for a £5, including the postage, you can order it. and you'll have plenty of time for Christmas and to see the comet. And then if you sign up for the whole year's subscription, next month, January, there's a total eclipse of the moon visible from Ireland, and we'll be featuring that as well. So you always get the details of when and where to look.
That's a fantastic asset to have as well for people who just have an interest in astronomy. But just saying that the comet probably won't be passing for 500 years or more, how do you go about calculating that?
Well, it was thanks to Isaac Newton and Edmund Halley of Halley's Comet fame.
Yeah.
Halley actually encouraged Newton to publish his theory of gravity, and that enabled him to predict this comet that he thought was the same comet. In fact, Halley showed that this comet comes back roughly once every lifetime, and it's called Halleys Comet ever since. It'll be back again in 2061. Now we know about 3,500 comets that go around the sun, and they all obey the law of gravity. Unfortunately, gravity is very predictable mathematically. So we can predict thousands of years in the future and thousands of years into the past if we measure how the comets are moving accurately right now.
Wow, that's fantastic. It's unbelievable that you can actually, with some amount of accuracy, predict that far in the future. It is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, I remember over a year ago, we were looking at the highlights for 2018, and we could see that Comet Vertinen was coming for the end of the year, and that it would get particularly close and therefore be bright. And the nice thing is it comes every 5.5 years, so although it normally needs a telescope to see it, we were used to how bright it gets, you just factor in the extra closer distance, and it gives you a pretty good guide, and it stuck to the guide as to how bright it's supposed to be. I was delighted to see it with the naked eye last night, because comets visible to the naked eye are very rare, and this one's high up in the dark sky all night long, nearly till midnight anyway.
And just as somebody who stares at the stars a lot, is there any way to kind of differentiate between it might be a plane? Because there's a few times when there's been a meteor shower, and I'm like, am I seeing a meteor, or are my eyes playing tricks, or is it a plane? Is there anything that separates it out from and makes it really obvious that it's a comet?
Yes, the classic idea of a comet is it whizzes across the sky. In fact, it doesn't. It sits there motionless all night long, at least as far as the naked eye or a pair of binoculars are concerned. It is actually moving at tens of thousands of miles or kilometers an hour, but it's so far away that you don't really see that motion, except from night to night. It'll be near one star one night and another star the next night. So if you see something whiz across the sky, that's a shooting star or meteor. If it drifts across the sky for a few minutes, it's probably a man-made satellite. The International Space Station's flying over tonight at 6 minutes past 6. There's actually a meteor shower peaking on Thursday night, the 13th. The best of the year, called the Geminids. We'll get 20 times more shooting stars than normal that night. And there's the Comet Watch the night after, and our Christmas lecture the following Monday. So it's a very busy week for us here in Astronomy Ireland.
Definitely, and I suppose if you look at the sky at any point this week, you might see something, whether it be a meteor or the comet or the satellite.
You'll see the comet every night this week and every night next week, and shooting stars will be half as good the night before Thursday night and half as good the night after. So they're well worth watching for 2 or 3 nights, in fact.
Oh, wow.
Amazing. So, also, before we let you go as well, of course, there's a lot that's been kind of going on. We've been hearing it in the media a lot recently about Mars Insight. That's kind of one of the big stories at the minute. And have you got anything, have you stuff going on particularly, to do with that anytime soon?
Mars itself, we've lots happening with Mars. First of all, it was closest to the Earth since 2003 this summer, and it's still very bright in the south. If you see an orangey red, very bright star in the south in the evenings, that's actually the planet Mars, and it's there till nearly midnight. And it's going to be there for a few more months. If you got a good telescope, you have to see surface markings. Now, the InSight spacecraft landed recently, and in fact, that's the subject of our Christmas lecture being given by Kevin Nolan of the Planetary Society. And he's a big fan of Mars. He's actually written a book about Mars, and what he doesn't know about Mars isn't worth knowing. And he studied the InSight mission, which is a unique mission to listen for Mars quakes and probe the inside of trying to figure out why it went, why it didn't say wet and warm like the Earth did. And he's also going to preview you may remember the mission in 2015 that went to the Pluto.
Yeah.
Well, it was directed onto an asteroid out beyond Neptune. It's going to arrive on, I think it's New Year's Eve, and he's going to preview that mission as well for our Christmas lecture next Monday in Trinity College. But in the university, it's actually aimed at the general public, just to have great facilities for lectures there at 8 o'clock. So everyone's welcome to that. There's even a Christmas party afterwards.
Oh, brilliant.
That
With
sounds
free
so
food.
cool. Even
Free
better.
food. We're sold.
Free food and science.
Absolutely. What's better? Food and science. You can't really beat it. Well, David, thanks very much for joining us on the show. It was fantastic to have you on. I definitely feel with the theme of the show going forward, it's not the last we're going to hear of you on here.
Definitely not. I've learned so much already just from this interview alone.
Well, there are thousands of members all around the country and tens of thousands on social media. So do check out astronomy.ie. Sign up at least for the free social media.
Yeah.
If you've got a $5 a month to spare, sign up for the magazine as well. And you'll get all the extra details that way.
Yeah.
One less cup of coffee.
Yeah.
That's all. One less cup of coffee and you've got
it.
your subscription.
And it's well worth
And
it.
it's a great gift for Christmas. If you're looking to get it as a gift, terrific. Just tell them to go to astronomy.ie, or if you know someone interested in space, especially a young person, it's actually reduced rates for young people, send them our way.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, brilliant. It was great to have you on the show today. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Anytime.
See you now.
Cheers.
Merry
Bye-bye.
Christmas.
And
You
Merry
too.
Christmas.